Silly, correct.
All right. Hey,
Just another minute here and
These are merely suggestions on where you should sit. You guys took the bait.
I think it's a
Anybody
pretty
new?
informal group. I don't think.
There you go.
Be careful.
Did whatever, I flipped a switch, is that what he wanted?
I said, is that what you want? I haven't heard back yet. And then I said, we don't know what that word means.
Were you down at the table last month?
Yeah. We have been.
How's retirement?
Did you get my message?
Did. This is what I'm doing on a Friday night.
Okay, Matt, I think you're good.
Good.
It's not going quite as well as I thought it would.
No? Well, give it time.
It's had lots of fun.
Good.
At least my wife is. Watching.
honeydew list.
I mean, it gets bigger every day. It's just, I got things knocked off. A few clients haven't figured out that they're retired yet.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we do have quorum. We have 5 yet?
Yeah, I got, that clock says we got
Yep.
almost. Waiting for it to tick.
Give it a minute.
Yep. We'll get started.
How's it go? Okay.
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't either?
No, North Scott was doing Musical, the musical,
No.
and their alto, their kid that was playing alto pulled out the week of the show. So I got the call to go up and be the ringer.
Nice.
So I told the section they were on their own for the concert and drove up to North Scott.
I think there are only 3 trombones. We were.
There were a lot of comic books on that weekend.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started here. It's 5 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. Dana's not here, so I guess I will take care of that part of it. So secretary's report from last month, I wasn't here, so I don't know if anybody's got any questions or additions or amendments to the minutes from last month.
Move to approve.
A motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved. All right, so any old business?
Nope.
If not, we'll move right on to the new business. First one is case DR 19-03 for the Creative Arts Academy, Joe Reagan. Joe?
Come
Joe,
on
if
up.
you want to come on up? and-
Excuse our awkwardness.
That's right. Yeah, you
Might
can
as well
have, if
just-
you
I
want to
can
have a seat, or you
Oh,
can,
okay.
it's entirely up to you. It's a pretty informal kind of thing. So, I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about what,
Well, we took over, I'm Joe Reagan with Davenport Community Schools. And we took over for the Eastern Iowa Community College. And we just want to switch out their signs with these new signs. That's okay with you?
Rendering back there
Yep.
of it?
Yes, sir.
As I mentioned, the downtown design guidelines for signage, not limited to particular sizes or anything, but one of the things we look for are the light letters on a contrasting dark background. Simple and readable. I think this sign meets all those criteria, so staff recommends approval.
I would so move. Second.
a Motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, yeah. If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I told you to be short.
See?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
All right, second one is,
You mind if I ask Jeff, just a
Yes.
question? I don't, remember we talked about a sign of having like push-through letters, I think is you, but it does add cost to the sign. I don't know if that's something we want to look for more in the downtown, or it's a little bit, you look at signs with flat signs, they're just, but when you have a
when you
push.
say, can you elaborate on when you say push through?
I'd probably let the,
Push-through is usually, would be an aluminum substrate. That whole thing there, that's just an acrylic face,
Uh-huh.
and the light will come through wherever you see the light there.
Okay.
A push-through would be, that cabinet would be built with a solid face, and the wording would be routed out, and then the panel of acrylic is routed to match, to push through the holes that are created, so it stands out a quarter to a half inch.
Okay.
And when it lights up, it halos around it. So
Oh, in different, in all
it
directions.
can come through the face. I should,
Right.
if the face is translucent, it'll come through the face, but a lot of times the face of the letter will be opaque, and then you see a halo.
Like
around
behind it,
Yeah.
behind the lettering, kind of
Yeah.
backlighting almost.
I mean, it's really nice. In a case like this thing here with a pre-made cabinet,
Mhm.
you know, I'm more into the design rather than, I think that's a really nicely designed sign, and it looks really nice, but, yeah, in a retro like that, you almost wanna do a new cabinet or
Okay.
apply faces over it.
Okay.
thanks for
Okay.
clarifying.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the flat signs are just a little,
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah. So I've just been kind of thinking about that as we have been talking a lot about, we'll probably due for an update for our design
Yeah, we're,
guidelines, so.
we're kind of maybe almost into other business, but we've talked internally that, with our downtown design guidelines, 13, 14 years old now, it's probably time to review them at a minimum and maybe do some rather significant changes. That being said, we'll hold that thought.
Okay. Case DR 19-04, for Zach. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Zach is the city's landscape architect.
He took the chair back, didn't he?
Huh.
That was nice of him.
All right.
Former CPED member, now our infiltrator in Public Works.
The mole, yes.
We're recording, aren't we? My
Oh.
bad.
Yeah. Sorry, Zach Peterson, Public Works. What we have here is the upgrades to Kaiserslautern Square. For those of you that don't know the background of it, what started out as a simple fountain rehabilitation because it wasn't working. The lighting was old. The pavers are out of touch. Then we realized, okay,
What's the location, Zach?
well, oh, sorry, Kaiserslautern Square, actually. Okay, so right in front of the opposite side of the street from the Adler, so right at River Center there, next to Duck City, for
Okay.
reference on there. So 100 block of East 3rd Street is where we're at right now, so.
If I could just editorialize, given Adler is one of our, our regional attractions, and what it looked like across the street has really been in disrepair. So personally, I'm pretty excited about this project.
Yeah, so what happened, I'll try to abridge this as much as possible, but when we took a look at it, what we're gonna do is start out with basic fountain repair. So the fountain has lost its mechanic, dynamic operability to where, the fountains would raise and lower and you could program them. So we're going to restore that once again, as well as upgrade it with LED lighting to present a light show on it. So we'll have below the fountain nozzle LED upgrades that we can program colors and those kind of things. So really activate the space at night is what we're looking for right now. So that's what you see going on here. So when we just took a look at that, it's like, well, all right, we're gonna have to crack open the plaza to update the mechanical equipment. This is where the mechanical hatch is. And by the time we do that, all of a sudden we have a scar in the plaza. And it's like, well, Okay, taking a step backwards, can we, well, the park itself screams 1996 when it was created, so the furnishings are out of date, nobody uses teal anymore, those kind of things, so we looked at the idea of a comprehensive overhaul, so that's where we got, although the price tag for a comprehensive overhaul was rather pricey, so council was a little nervous on that one, and we took a step back, and this is where groups like RDA, SCRA, the Bechtel Trust, and in addition to Duck City Bistro, they stepped up to the plate and raised over $175,000 for this to make this possible. So, yeah, and that works.
So what's this SCRA and RDA? I'm just for
Okay.
those who may not know.
Thank you, Matt. For those of you who don't know, that's our organizing boards that hand out competitive grants for the two casinos we have in town. So SCRA is the Bettendorf Casino, and RDA is the Davenport Casino. So twice a year there's an application cycle where projects such as this can go in for funding, and need-based, they allocate some of the profits per law, prescribed by law, to make things like this happen. So it's a really getting that some of the money back into the community is a good thing. So
You know, I shudder what our communities would be able to spend on public amenities without those two entities. So
absolutely,
You may not be, yeah, we'll leave it at that.
and that's what we're looking at. The new normal is going to be leveraging funds like
Yeah,
that and
for sure.
private donations for public improvements if we want to do it right. So, do you have the illustrative?
Which one is that?
Just the board. It should be. So that was the site plan there. Certain things. It was the graphic. It was. Okay.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see one.
Okay. I had a rendering showing
Sorry
what
about
it
that.
looks like.
Pretty color picture, I didn't.
It was a pretty color picture.
Bummer.
You can go back to that site plan then.
Yep.
So, we approached it, so we took on our consultant team with RDG of, yes, thanks, of Des Moines, who's helped out. We generated the concept in-house, the key features, and, there's only one of me in my department, and, their project team had the time and staffing to make it work. So they put the construction plan together, and we hope to be out to bid this week, pending a blessing from this board. So one of the things we examined was the overall use of the site, and if you've ever been there in the middle of summer, it's rather inhospitable. It's the sun beats down on there. It's not a place you want to hang out or spend time. So ways of making it more useful to people and more of a showcase space, as Matt alluded to earlier. So we separate it into rooms, so it'd be a series of plazas. Right now, the site drops off to the alleyway and back, so we created some vertical interest by creating raised elevated plazas and sunken plazas within it. The opposite end of the main entrance is a flexible performance stage area, so to add this element of potential performance related things to this venue, as well as a potential sculpture location. One thing is that the Sister Cities organization is working with to have a commission and artwork from a German artist that will be showcased in that space. So that was one of the long-term goals of this. And also, I say Kaiserslautern Square, show of hands, who knew what I was talking about? Oh, word got around, maybe because of the news in the past week, but when you're on site, you have no idea what this is or what the meaning is. So another design goal was to commemorate this relationship. Right now we've got these sunken plaques that are on here that nobody can see. So one of the goals is to have a raised sign face that says what it is, Kaiserslautern Square. These sunken plaques will be remounted, the original dedication plaques will be mounted on the sign face wall that's there. So flexibility is key. You can create your own intimate space. We're working on flexible seating here. It's a radical concept in town because people are afraid that things are going to be people are just going to take the furniture and walk off. So I'm going to have the downtown partnership back me on that they'd be willing to keep an eye on it in case. But you look at major cities like Philadelphia, City Hall right in the center of town, they've got this same exact furniture there, and it stays put, people respect it, so.
Ryan and I were in San Francisco, Union Square.
Exactly. Bryant Park, the heart of New York City, same thing. So it's an experiment here, and maybe there's a little GPS stickies we can put on it to track them. That's it in a nutshell. The other component is, since we have our stormwater management guidelines in effect, we need to follow what we're preaching. So actually what's happening underneath with all the planting beds is a system of stormwater, natural stormwater filtration, treatment, and retention before being the outlet into the storm sewer here. So it's more of a what's called eco-revelatory design, to where we can have interpretive signage on site showing exactly how this functions, but it's a functional system to the landscape, in addition to canopy trees. So when it's dark in the middle of summertime, getting shade trees that'll knit together over time and really soften that environment in there. So
Is there any thought given to when the storm runoff hits those underground tanks or whatever you
Uh-huh.
call them, to retaining them and using them for watering?
oh, that's an excellent question. Like a cistern.
Yes.
Thing we're dealing with, our major handicap with it is, I would assume if stormwater were to fall on the plaza, yeah, it's gonna serve that effect, but, the health department requires us to operate in a certain way, filtration-wise, so it's a closed system through there. So yes and no, I guess, indirectly. I suppose that the rain that does fall on the fountain does get put into the system and recycled as necessary.
Well, I think for all the watering we see downtown with the plantings and stuff, I wonder if,
Mm-hmm.
good thought.
Yeah.
So the fountain, and I've seen the other designs, is it done so to encourage a playful interaction, or?
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's another health department regulation. I would love to be able to open it up and say, everybody come in, but it's going to be one of those things that if we were to do that, allow the public, we would have to upgrade our filtration system to that of swimming pool. That's just how the code is written these days. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it probably doesn't make the most sense, but that's on us. That's a liability that we can't take. If somebody's gonna play around in there, we probably won't stop them unless it becomes problematic.
Like the fountain at
They never
Vanderveer.
get
Like-
the fountain at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Never.
No, never.
Yeah.
Or hoist their kids up into the Dillon Fountain into the upper bowl over there. No, that never happens.
You wanna talk about streetscape real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is an add-on, it's not in your packet, but along with this, at roughly the same time, we will be doing a streetscape on that 100 block of these. So, along the frontage of the Union Arcade building, Duck City, and the park improvements here. So, pretty standard. In terms of accessibility, there will be a ramp that goes up to meet ADA thresholds to get into the Duck City building. So right here is the Duck City entrance, and next to it is the doorway that goes up to the apartment. There will be a set of stairs here that goes down to the road where that break is, but along that transition line, we'll have a planter. And these are some of the directions we're trying out, new strategies that hopefully, upgrading our design guidelines. We'll have standard details, hopefully, that we can incorporate transitions such as this that are more difficult within the downtown and maintain that ADA accessibility.
So is Duck City paying for that?
They are paying for their frontage. I don't know what that math, was it half?
We have them pay for their concrete, the flat work. And so the way we now do it is say, you're gonna be on the hook for the concrete part, then the partnership kicks in, and then the city kicks in. So we've really tried to work hard to get away from that, dare I say, cringe-worthy question, what about streetscape? And
Uh-huh.
so we're able to do it more comprehensively, which which is
And-
way more ideal.
There's a few modifications taking place on the plan here. Like right now, this tree is probably going to get axed because we have a sign facing Kaiserslautern Square. We don't really want to have a tree blocking that from the street frontage. So that'll probably go bye-bye, but there'll be a grid of trees in the park proper, so that won't be as noticeable. Also, the elephant in the room is a basement that juts out under the Union Arcade building, roughly to the back of curb existing. So we're going to have to be creative in the way we solve that. So our design intervention strategy is to do raised planter beds. There's already in our downtown guidelines a raised planter standard detail, so we'll be doing that. The partnership is stepping up to ensure that it's planted, that they're willing to make that commitment to what we're showing. So it'll be nice and green in those areas, and you'll still have enough transition there. Unlike some of the problems we had with the Buyer block in front of me and Billy's there, where there wasn't enough room to open car doors, and they put the bricks in afterwards because the plant material was obtrusive to car door movement. So here, that shouldn't be a problem. We'll have the full swing of the car door. So.
How are you gonna get down to the depth if you've got a basement there for your footings for your light?
That's a good question, and it's one I need to meet with Barry on to develop more of a detail that unique circumstance where we do have underground basement. They've done that successfully on the Parker building on that frontage on Brady Street.
Can part of the basement be filled in? I know, like a stem wall
I-
and.
Then we had the same situation at Caldwell.
Yeah.
And we closed it off at the face of the building and put in fill all the way around so that you could actually still dig in it. And I think it worked out pretty well.
You don't happen to have the design detail, do you?
And I'd be able to.
I would be interested in those.
Requirements.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're that never happens, but
I can
Uh-huh.
check tomorrow.
That is the strategy we've talked with the
Mhm.
downtown partnership of doing. Ideally, we'd wanna do exactly just that.
and the concerns we have from a staff perspective obviously is risk management and going into more or less a private situation with a public entity and some of the red tape that might just who's doing what there. But yeah, I don't know if that's, you said flowable. I mean, is there a way maybe like a sonotube through the basement? Just some kind of structural integrity.
The least expensive, when we looked at it, we looked at about 15 different ways to do it. And that was board it off right at the face of the building.
Okay.
And put it in full fill. And, you can go in there today and dig into it. And, the concern is from an owner's perspective, but EICCD owned it.
Mm-hmm.
The concern was, well, what if your sheathing breaks down and it flows into the building?
Yeah.
That's on us, we'll
Uh-huh.
take care of that.
Hmm.
And as long as you can provide that coverage of liability to the owner, I think you'd be okay, but
So what is the material specifically
it's just really clean concrete.
and it just never,
And you can just pump it.
That's
Well,
the
I think it's hard,
Okay.
don't misunderstand me, but, you work with a concrete company and come up with a design mix. As a matter of fact, I think Shive came up with a design mix for us. And, you can go in there today and take a shovel, literally dig it. It's like real hard clay,
Hmm.
that you can dig it.
And currently, that's our strategy for streetscape up the block, 4th and Iowa, and
Mhm.
where the coal chutes. I mean, those are the easy ones. That,
Sure.
Yeah, that's the intervention we're using.
Yeah. I think the owner of Union Arcade, he doesn't know what to do with that space right now anyway.
I was able to take a look down there and walk through it, and it's not being used.
No, it's not. And, I think if you were willing to do that, or come up with some means of doing that, I think you would be pretty happy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. that may be a change order when we're into it. I mean, fortunately, well, I guess we still have 3 lights that are subject to that. The other thought I had was like a spread footer. I don't know if that would work or anything to be able to structurally on top of it.
But then you'd have to go to somebody that's still gainfully employed.
Have your card.
Sure.
I'll send you his email.
Yeah.
But I'll
Yeah.
check tomorrow and
A
see.
structural review is something we might have to do as an addendum in the bid process, just to ensure that we got our ducks in a row on that one. Oh, I should mention, right now, this is the entrance to the parking deck on here. It's proposing, utilizing the bump outs. It's just a great way of free space and that kind of thing. So throwing some bike racks in there as well as street furniture on the other one to be a waiting spot and more of a place for interaction. So moving forward, these are all kind of, I don't know, test market is what we're doing here, but overall, this will be put together with standard details and an upgrade of our streetscape guidelines once we got the practice out of it and go with these techniques that work, let's put it that way.
I think it's a great plan. Thinking back to when the Kaiserslautern people were here last year, and as we drove past, it was sort of, we stopped and got out, and it was sort of, oh.
Cringeworthy.
Thanks a lot. We love you too.
There's these 2 guys that handle design review, and they just haven't gotten their act together yet. But I'm glad to see you finally are. No, I really do. I think it's a great improvement.
Wonderful.
I think it'll be a wonderful change in that space.
Can you go to the site plan, or go to one of those details of the walls? One thing I didn't mention is we're trying, okay, so these transitional zones between the elevated plaza, around here with this type of hatch and along this back wall, we're actually using Gabion walls. So it's cool. It's almost more of a European look if you want to go that way, but to throw it, not like the kind of retaining walls you see on a DOT project or a stream bank stabilization, but a basket wire. Gabion walls, for those who don't know, it's basically a retaining wall, a cheap retaining wall with a wire basket around it that you can fill with whatever, basically. So these walls along the perimeter and back will have glass blocks. So one of the details we're looking at is, you can scroll down to some of the details. Keep going. Right here. So what this is in material change, we've got a river rock on the base of the wall. These are what the walls look like in plan view, or sorry, profile view. These areas, this random kind of wave look to it is actually glass block. So it's a really cool glass product that would be filled in this area and then backlit. So at night it'll have the glass will be illuminated, and it's a really striking effect. I've always wanted to use it, so that's kind of my own personal like guinea pig idea. But to create more nighttime interest as well. Right now the space isn't really used at night. It's kind of a throwaway space, but the thought being between having the light show on the fountain, the LED upgrades, and then more intimate nighttime lighting, it'll be a place where people hang out and people are there, the security comes with it, and hopefully with that, furniture staying where it's supposed to. Oh, then there's a sign face. So
I was confused about that. It read where they're stainless letters, and are they inset into the wall and flush? That's what it says.
no, they're extruded.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're gonna be backlit or anything, or just?
No, I would love to,
Yeah.
but our budget's already.
Maybe lights from the streetscape that will illuminate it.
Yeah, yeah. And we realized at the groundbreaking last weekend that we really need new flagpoles, so we're gonna, we had the contingent from Kaiserslautern in, and we had a flag raising ceremony, and we had two people on either end raising respective city flags, and the one that had the Kaiserslautern flag, not only was it metric or something in wrong dimensions, the flag was just huge and all over the place, but the flagpole was just groaning and squeaking, and it needed oil. I digress.
Any other questions for Zach about it?
Timing,
Timing, upon blessing of this board, obviously, we'd like to be in a bidding situation as soon as possible, and construction over the summer months. The streetscape will follow suit shortly thereafter. The thought being is, and this is our strategy, that we have the high price one going out to bid, and then a contractor would be more inclined to bid on the streetscape as well, and maybe cut us a break to get that part of it as well. So we're kind of rolling the dice on that one. But our goal is to be open up in time for Oktoberfest, sister cities. So open it up with event that hopefully will have beer, sausages, and maybe a brass band going. Ooh, Matt.
All right, don't.
I know a guy.
I know a
Talk
guy.
when the camera's off. As long as
Okay.
it has an alto sax in the combo.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Any other questions? If not,
I would move to approve.
second.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Zach.
Zach.
Good job.
All right. Third one on the list tonight is case DR 19-05, Lopez Pizza, Jeff Young.
Low
Which
pies. Okay.
I'll be recusing myself.
Right, I assumed.
Yeah,
Rudy's-
Panini and Friends was in there, and they gave it their best shot. She was pretty bummed that she closed up stores, so we're, Lopez Brothers, but they call it Lopez, but they're going to put their signs right in the same spot, circular, just like,
They're the same size, aren't they?
Panini. And, well, I'm going to reface them. There's part of it that's up there that we're retaining, and I'm going to just put a new face on it. And then, so it's a black aluminum composite panel, and then all the graphics are half-inch thick PVC, so it gives it a nice dimension. And that, there'll be that one there, and then the one on the west side of the building.
You go down to that next one.
Yeah, and then they wanna, because they're really wanting to sell slices, that's what they're gonna be known for.
Because that's the side that faces west, right?
West,
As you go
yeah.
down Third Street.
And those are 3/4 inch PVC dimensional letters that'll be attached right there, so.
So is that a drive-through?
No.
Not intended, but it could happen.
There's a lot of buzz about them, but.
I saw that video, the
Yeah.
cafe,
The guy in
that
the
was
river-
brilliant.
Oh my God, I know. And I didn't look at it real close, and my son was looking at it with me, I was like, was he really in the river? He's like, God, Dad, come on.
That's
Look
a
at it
pretty good-
closer," And it was just a.
Well, it was pretty good though.
I know, it
And I
wasn't that bad.
the only place I've seen it is on their Facebook page. I wish it was on YouTube. I don't know why. I think you
It's
get more
it's
exposure,
really
but
well done, yeah.
look for it.
Is it on the Lopez Facebook page?
I think it's on Lopez Facebook page.
It's pretty fun. actually. But yeah, they already had light, you can see those little lighting, the lights there that just
Mhm.
shine up, so there's no electrical involved except for that. It's already in place. Cut and dry. They wanted to do something on the east side of the building, but that'll have to come later in budget
to approve.
Motion, and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, that's everything under new business. Any other general discussion? Obviously, there's no one from the public, so nobody else has anything, then I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody. Thank you.
Good job, Jeff.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
The email summaries are nice. I mean, easy to read and
Cool.
easy to scroll through, so appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work.
We try and,
Yeah.
at least with this one, we don't get, we just try and get you the minimum amount of information to.
Yeah.
Did you always get those late comers? And
Yeah?
Always, they're the worst.
I called Matt and I said. "Matt,
When did you
when's-
call me? It
I
was
said, "When's the
Wednesday?
deadline for getting stuff in for the next meeting?" No, Matt, here's his response, 2 days ago. But if you hurry, I appreciate it, Matt.
Not a problem.
Stick that in there. Thank you
It's the
all.
the ones that call Monday during the day.
Hi.
All right.
Wow.
So where were you at before you retired?
Ryan.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Developed it.